The automotive world is currently obsessed with massive, bloated SUVs that can barely navigate a grocery store parking lot. But what if I told you the king of the trails is staging a comeback that makes the modern competition look like fragile toys? We are talking about the return of a nameplate that defined pure, mechanical, unadulterated off-road capability back in the 80s. The 2026 Suzuki Samurai is officially back, and it is not just a retro-style tribute. It is a direct assault on the comfortable, expensive status quo that has dominated the industry for way too long. Forget your fancy leather-wrapped crossovers that panic at the sight of a gravel road, because this new Samurai is here to prove that you do not need 3 tons of steel and a 6-figure price tag to conquer the wildest terrain on the planet. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of why this vehicle is keeping every major manufacturer up at night, I need to address the elephant in the room. There is one specific, controversial design choice Suzuki has made for the 2026 model that will either cement it as an instant legend or alienate the purists forever. And that single detail is going to change exactly how you perceive modern off-roading. Stick around until the very end of this video, because I am going to reveal the one critical flaw that could make or break this entire project when it finally hits the dealership floors. This machine is built on the philosophy of compact toughness, blending that iconic, boxy silhouette that we all fell in love with 40 years ago with the kind of modern engineering that actually makes sense for the 21st century. We are looking at a ladder frame chassis that feels like it was forged from iron, paired with advanced suspension articulation that honestly puts some full-sized trucks to shame. Suzuki hasn't just refreshed the look, they have modernized the heart of the beast. While the original was famous for being slow but unstoppable, this new iteration features a punchy, turbocharged powertrain that gives you enough torque to crawl over boulders, while still being perfectly happy cruising at highway speeds. And if you are finding yourself nodding along to the sheer potential of this tiny giant, do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button and tap the like icon right now. It really helps the channel keep bringing you these deep dives into the vehicles that actually matter. Inside the cabin, the evolution is even more striking. You are not going to find unnecessary luxury here, because that would just be extra weight and complication. Instead, you get a cabin designed for real life, with water-resistant materials, a ruggedized infotainment system that won't die the moment it touches a bit of dust, and a layout that prioritizes function over form. It is refreshing to see a company ignore the trend of screen-heavy, button-less dashboards in favor of tactile controls you can actually use while you are bouncing down a rocky trail. The approach and departure angles are aggressive. The ground clearance is class-leading, and the overall footprint is small, enough to squeeze through tight forests that would swallow a modern tank of an SUV whole. It is a masterclass in packaging. By focusing on mechanical honesty rather than digital gimmicks, Suzuki is betting that the market is finally tired of over-engineered fluff. Now, let's talk about the reality of this revival. We are living in an era where emissions regulations and safety standards are the ultimate gatekeepers for any new vehicle. Bringing back a name as legendary as the Samurai carries an immense amount of pressure because it has to live up to the myth while meeting standards that didn't even exist in the 90s. Suzuki's engineers have had to walk a razor-thin line between preserving that raw mechanical soul and integrating the safety systems required for modern global markets. It is an incredibly difficult balance to strike, and that brings us to the crucial reveal I promised you at the start. While the exterior design perfectly captures that vintage aggression with its round LED headlights and classic upright pillars, the one major controversy is the transmission pairing. In a world moving aggressively towards seamless automatics and electric torque, Suzuki has decided to keep a traditional, mechanical manual gear set as the base offering. While the enthusiast community is cheering this decision, industry analysts are terrified that it limits the car's mainstream appeal and could potentially lead to a higher barrier to entry for the average buyer. Is this bold, enthusiast-focused decision the final nail in the coffin for mass-market success? Or is it exactly the kind of risky, character-driven move that will turn the 2026 Suzuki Samurai into a future collector's item? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain. This little beast isn't asking for permission to disrupt the market.